So we will now turn to the Assistant Minister for Public Affairs, who will lead us into the activities as it unfolds, and the Mayor. Thank you.
Let me say good afternoon to all of our colleagues from the various media institutions here in Liberia. And it's good to have you at the headquarters or at the Ministry of National Defense, here the headquarters of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Flying on my right is the Public Relations Officer of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General. And he will be trading you through the itinerary as it relates to this special Armed Forces Day. As you may be aware, annually the Armed Forces of Liberia celebrates Day on February 11 every year. Let me just read from the prepared text that I have, and maybe during the course of our discussion, we'll get the question and answer. We'll be able to give you some curiosity about the armed forces. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, you are officially welcome. We are all aware of the Armed Forces of Liberia's annual celebration, which is the Armed Forces Day. The Armed Forces Day historically came into existence by legislation on February 11, 1957, with the sole intent of paying homage to the men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia who are making tireless sacrifices to maintain the security of Liberia, and those who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duties for their country and people. On February 11, 2021, the Armed Forces of Liberia will be celebrating its 64th Armed Forces Day and 113 years of existence since 1908. The Armed Forces of Liberia Day celebration has always been used as an opportunity for the public, foreign guests, and dignitaries to be acquainted with activities regarding development and progress within the Armed Forces of Liberia. As part of 2021 celebration, we have called you here to update you with activities leading to the commemoration of this year's Armed Forces Day. This year's celebration begins with the Armed Forces Day, that is the AFD Symposium. The AFD Symposium will be held on Wednesday, the 3rd of February 2021 at 10 a.m. at the Ministerial Complex under the theme, The Military in Sustaining Democracy. The keynote speaker for this year's symposium is Councillor Tawan Gonglo, President of the Liberia National Bar Association. The discussions for this year's symposium are as follows. Honorable Member Bridge Menza, Representative, Bum County. Councillor David Etta Brown Lasana, Chairperson, National Election Commission, NEC. Madam Cecilia N. Flomo, Acting Executive Director, Governance Commission. Honorable Harris Fumatanu, Principal, Booker Washington Institute, the BWR. Honorable Swakugo Dennis, Representative District Number 4, Moserado County. Dr. J. Clarence Yaski, and Madam Sarah Ara Walker. Others include Councillor Siri Jones, CEO Jones & Jones Law Firm, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Allen, SDO/DATT U.S. Embassy, and Honorable Jimmy W. Smith, Representative, District Number 2, Moserado County. The Armed Forces Day Symposium will be followed by a Juma, that is the service that is held for our soldiers of the Muslim faith. And that service will take place at the Mandingo Quarter Mosque in Kakata City, Mangibi County, on Friday, February 5th, 2021 at 12 noon. On Saturday, February 6th, 2021, the cleanup campaign and the medical outreach will take place simultaneously. These events will be followed by the launching of a mini basketball court and football tournament. The cleanup campaign will take place in Bangabong County beginning at 7 a.m. Also beginning at 7 a.m., the medical outreach will take place in Pakon Village, Maisha Road at 1:30 p.m. There will be the launching of a mini basketball court at the Grady Addison School campus, United Nations Draft, Monrovia. Following the launching of the basketball court at 2 p.m., the day will be climaxed with sporting tournament, football, kickball, and volleyball. The football and kickball matches will take place among the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Company, the Liberia National Police, Lone Star Cell MTN, The volleyball will be a side attraction of the one-day sporting tournament. Now, let me just throw a little light on the activities that I just made mention of. When it comes to the medical outreach, we see the presence of Lone Star Cell and MTN. They will be alongside our medical team, and they will be involved in giving out gifts to those that will be treated for medical condition by the Armed Forces of Liberia. Lone Star Cell MTN will also form part of the cleanup campaign in Baum County, and they will also be there to share gifts with residents of Baum County as part of the Armed Forces Day celebration. While the football game, Lone Star Cell will play an active role in forming part of the tournament. And so those are some of the things that Lone Star Cell will be doing along with the Armed Forces of Liberia as it relates to the as it relates to the 64th anniversary of Armed Forces Day. There comes the big one. On Sunday, normally when we work like this, we like to give God thanks for carrying us through. We have troops in Mali and other parts of Africa, and they have people here who are praying for them. So we'll be gathering at the New Water in the Tessa Church on VOA at 10 a.m. in the morning for a worship service. On the midday, that is a big day. On Thursday, February 11, the official Armed Forces Day celebration will kick off at 7 a.m. This year's celebration is a bit different. The Armed Forces of Liberia will not get involved, or the public will not see the drill and ceremony aspect of the celebration, and this is in line with the health protocol. Because there is no way that we can have the soldier parading the streets 6 feet apart. You have witnessed a past program, and you see how the soldiers are jammed when it comes to celebrating the day. And so we want to protect the soldiers and also protect those who should have been coming for the celebration of the day. But the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, will give a nationwide address, and that address will come from the headquarters of the Armed Forces of Liberia with minimum attendance. And those expected to attend that program include members of the press, and we'll also have the committees coming from the host and other dignitary that Major Jevo going to drill you through the arrival times as it relates to the ceremony. So let the public be informed that this time around you will not see us gathering at the Barclay Training Center like what you have seen before, or seeing the troops marching across unprincipled streets of Monrovia. We are concerned about the new strain of the virus, then found in parts of Africa to include South Africa and other parts of Europe. And so we don't want to endanger the welfare of the VIP and the soldiers that usually turn out on Armed Forces Day. Jabo?
Yeah. So, like the minister said, the speech, the nationwide address the president will be giving on that day will be coded Armed Forces Day's message, because he's the commander-in-chief, and he will be giving this message to the nation. But like the minister said, this year's Armed Forces Day is going to be celebrated differently from the way we previously celebrated past Armed Forces Day. Just to recap, for the purpose of adhering to health protocol, and then we don't want our troops to be parading with marks on their faces, and then maybe endangering their health. On the D-Day, we're going to have a little program in the conference room of the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. It's no longer going to be on the parade ground where we're going to where the troops are going to be, and then we have a very elaborate program. This time around, we're going to call just few guests, few diplomats to sit in, just to grace the occasion while the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia gives his Armed Forces Day's message. Yes, sir.
So, without much ado, we can now receive one or two questions so that you can go back to your respective areas.
Okay, thank you. I think much has already been said. It's just that I was smiling when you talk about the kind of protocol you set up, especially in relation to health situation, the coronavirus crisis. And I was just smiling because I was thinking, how is it that we have seen a whole lot of gathering when it comes to, even though it's not within your authority to guide people from going on the field to play football, we just had a county league where you got thousands of people just converge. But then the army is saying, look, we cannot do our normal stuff because of this virus. So I was just thinking about that.
But all of the ministries and agencies have different mandates. And so I cannot speak for other ministries. But yeah, the Ministry of National Defense will not have any gathering that will bring together almost 30,000 persons. Normally when this place is packed, a lot of people come. We are concerned about the well-being of the soldiers. We are involved with peacekeeping mission around Africa, Sudan, Southern Sudan, and Mali. And we also have soldiers in Ethiopia. We have a mission in Ethiopia and at the UN and the Liberian embassy. And also we need to think about the welfare of our men.
Yes, I haven't watched the details there, but you talk about the president who delivered his message. I didn't hear you speak anything about the keynote speaker. How would that be done as well?
What happens on the usual program? That's where we capture keynote speaker in the rest of others to say something. But on this day, we have kind of downsized the program to an extent that the only person that's going to be speaking besides the Honorable Minister of National Defense is the Commander-in-Chief. Only his message that makes it important for this year's program. Only his message will be going forward. So there's no keynote speaker anymore. All right, no keynote speaker.
Yeah, BC.
Yes, let's look at the medical outreach.
Yeah, great.
How will it look like? How many persons are intended to will intended be within that area?
Look, normally when it comes to the week leading up to February 11, we are involved with different activities, like the cleanup campaign, medical, and sports, and what have you. So residents of Bakontan in Marshall, somewhere in Mangibi County, will benefit this time around, and we are hoping that we'll be able to reach out to no more than 500 persons, because that is the Ministry of National Defense, the Armed Forces of Liberia way of reaching out as part of the civil military relationship that we have here with the Liberian military, making the people to feel comfortable with their military. So a lot of money is put into it. Drugs have been purchased, high quality drugs, and the treatment. The treatment is just free of charge. So we would like to use your medium to speak to the people of Bakon village along Marshall Way, Marshall Highway, so that they can get together on the 6th of February in their numbers, as the AFL will be there to treat common sicknesses like cold, malaria, and what have you. And we think that as they are doing it, Lone Star Cell will be there with little gifts to give out to the children, to give out to the women or men that will be turning up for that medical outreach. Now, it will interest you to note that on the 6th there will be separate activities. We'll be in Banga with the cleanup campaign, we'll be back on village with the medical outreach, and we will be here at the back of the training center. And all of the activities will take into consideration the health protocol.
Yeah, Nelson Colette Fabric.
I'll give you the code.
I'm concerned, especially when you talked about the health outreach, the aspect that has to do with the AFL treating people, and you also talked about the new strain of the virus in some parts of Africa. Will you be sending out messages to some of those people with respect to how they go about handling themselves, especially in the heat of the outbreak?
Well, certainly, we have been involved with the fight against COVID-19. We have been seriously involved. You know what we did during the lockdown. It was our way of contribution. Our military hospital is being used. That facility is being used to cater to or to treat patients or individuals who are coming down with the virus. So we have always been involved. And you will not see any officer in this fence that you see their sleeve up. For the last 6 to 7 months right now, no personnel of the armed forces of Liberia have been wearing anything with their sleeves up. So we are sensitive as it relates to the welfare of the men in uniform and even the community that we live in. So on that day, as I speak to you, mobilization is ongoing, and in that mobilization, people are being informed about the danger of COVID-19. So the military has been playing a very key role. Then
finally, from my end, how do you see the role of Lone Star Cell MTN in this entire activity leading to the celebration?
Come again?
How do you see the role of Lone Star Cell MTN?
Well, we appreciate Lone Star Cell coming around this time. We do appreciate. The military belongs to everybody. And to have them coming, having a sport deal with us, to have them coming on our cleanup campaign, and working with the soldiers to clean maybe that some of the employees of those have not made, or some of our personnel have not created, and to see them back on village with us on that particular day, I think it is good, and I think it's also part of their corporate social responsibility to the public.
Yeah, so specifically to the targeted group in Bacon's village, we have trained medical practitioners that are going to meet the targeted group over there, and then in the execution or implementation of medication, they for sure going to also educate them on the danger of COVID, and how they should manage themselves, go about their day-to-day activities without risking themselves. Okay. Then when it comes to what was the last question to
the role of Lone Star Cell.
Okay, so you see, the Lone Star Cell involvement is their involvement with the military is part of their social corporate responsibility. And we in the military, we have the civil military relationship. So we all have one mind, meeting out with the civil community, and then meeting the needs of the civil community. So we see it as welcoming, and we hope that in the future they will come up with better plans, to let the Liberians, benefit during this time. Yeah.
Okay, so, there's nothing.
So,
more to say.
okay, Ben. So, you get your card yet? We hope that the media will follow the protocol for the 11. Because the protocol for the 11 broadcast will be stringent. Will be very, very stringent in terms of the health protocol. So, public service announcements are being aired on federal radio station, and you guys will get some of the information, the one that you did not get from here, as it relates to the program on the 11th. But let's just bear in mind that it's not a program that follows from a pageantry where people will stay home that day and see the military marching.
I send it. Let me ask a simple question. I have
First conference handle.
nobody says so.
Okay.
It's simple.
We have my final statement. Go ahead.
My final statement. I think I don't know what I got. I got it cleared up with there will be no official keynote speaker. Sure. On the D-Day, there will be no official keynote speaker, but we'll have a keynote speaker at the symposium. Yeah, honestly. Okay.
Yeah.
But for the D-Day, no keynote. We decided to just. Those who listen to you, the airway, one may ask you, what is the cause for which there will be no keynote speaker? This seems to be strange.
The program that we're having, we you know that July 26th, you did not see the armed forces marching on the street, and so it may be strange to some people that why all activities are going on in Armed Forces Day, and the troop will not be performing or will not be parading. But we think that it's all intended to live in line with the protocol.
And in addition to what the minister just said, we just said that we intend not to have an elaborate program. So we have scaled down a lot of items, okay? And key to this program is only the president's message that we have taken to be paramount on this D-Day. All other things that probably you expect will be seen and heard at the symposium. And we'll keep a keynote speaker for the symposium. The symposium will be an elaborate one. We have a lot of people making remarks. We got prominent government officials, and state persons, who are discussing, will be discussing and all of that. But for this one, only the commander. So if I'm not trying to hold you, but not having elaborate, not having official keynote speaker who made that for the elaborate program. That's what he said. We don't have a.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we don't.